All right, what's good, everybody? Ninja to Viaduct back at it again. We took a little bit of a break last week, and then the week before that, it was just me going solo. But we're all back together. Well, almost all back together. But kind of getting back into the swing of things, getting a better feel for sort of where we're at right now with production and getting back on schedule. But for this week, we're going to go ahead and take it a little bit easy still and just kind of catch up and see where everybody is at. Talk a little bit about where Chris went that week that I did the Avatar vlog. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into it. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about where you were at a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So the last week of October, I was over in San Francisco for about 4 days, primarily to visit the TechCrunch Disrupt conference that was happening over there. So TechCrunch Disrupt, for those you might not know, it's a pretty well known a conference convention for all things startup, primarily tech startups that or you might know it from the popular show Silicon Valley, where you can see a bunch of venture capitalists and aspiring entrepreneurs and existing businesses, startups that are trying to, get into the U.S. market. So it's really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Um, and I learned a lot about there. I mean, I went there primarily to learn about the startup world, what it takes, some ideas on what's required, and kind of the world about startups and investing in venture capitalists, and what's on the minds of, or what's the end thing right now, right? What's the thing that people are making right now in the startup world? And for the most part, if I had to give y'all a couple words as to what's in right now, or the big thing right now, is pretty much AI. No surprise there, right? AI. All the investors, all the venture capitalists out there, they want AI in your product or whatever you're trying to build over there. And all the startups I saw over there demonstrating or pitching or presenting, all in some way incorporated AI. So it was really cool stuff, really interesting stuff. I mean, I saw anywhere from AI software that helps with engineering, software engineering. I saw AI software that helps with identifying breast cancer. AI trying to help farmers. Content creation for any people out there content creating right now. Even product managers, right? So product managers are, even them are having AI being incorporated in some way. I wouldn't say that all the stuff I saw is things that would make you worry that your job is going to be taken anytime soon. In fact, I would argue that most of the people there that I saw had the kind of mindset that all of these AI tools that are in a kind of like a huge hype right now isn't really meant to replace jobs, although I'm sure there are people that are kind of angling it that way. But for the most part, from what I saw over there, a lot of people were building AI tools and software just to really supplement and augment, or um, kind of take some of the heavy-handed work from people out there. So that was pretty interesting, and I really got an idea of what venture capitalists were thinking. If there's anyone out there trying to understand what it takes to pitch and get in front of a venture VC, and get your story heard to get that money in. It was really cool. I mean, anywhere. Also saw Ashton Kutcher. I mean, a surprise. He's been like a tech investor for, I think, about 10 years from what I saw in his bio. Also the Disney star, former Disney star, I guess it was Bridget Mendler. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. And her story is cool. I mean, she came on the stage, kind of showcasing about, talking about how she transitioned from being a Disney star into going to her studies. I think she went like a PhD, and started a space industry business. That was pretty cool and inspiring. Um, and even saw a group. I don't know too much about it. I heard the name, but Chain Smokers. think they're a big, huge music group that
Mm.
I'm not aware of, but they were on the stage too, talking about their investing life. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool seeing both sides of the spectrum, investors and uh, the startups. And I think the cool thing about it was seeing the energy, and there, like, you saw a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs or engineers, really in there trying to do something. Although realistically, we know the data says that most startups fail, most businesses that try will fail. But it's cool that there are a bunch of people out there uh, uh, trying to break in and build success for themselves. That was cool. So that was cool. That was probably my main focus. It was a 3 day thing. Went there every day, met some people. Also saw Sony's upcoming EV car in partnership with Honda. I think it's called Afila. It was pretty cool. Sometime coming out this year. Um, really cool. I mean, it has like a panel monitor panel in front of the car, so you see like a Fortnite logo. That was pretty cool. And otherwise, I mean, I wasn't just TechCrunch disrupt. Right? I mean, I also took the time to travel some places. Um, Winchester House, that was pretty cool. For Haunted House, that was pretty interesting. Had a good time there. Alcatraz Prison, had some food, and kind of went through some restaurants that I didn't realize were considered some of the more sketchy districts. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't kind of get myself in trouble going to those districts. But I always had a good time. Had a good time. Had a good time. I know you've been there a few times, right? Um, I'm not sure what's your take on San Francisco, but I thought it was a cool place. But kind of, you walk through a certain block, it's really clean, really nice, and looks safe. You walk across the street, and suddenly it's like a entirely different place. Like, whoa, what's going on? Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm overall though. I've gone to San Francisco a couple times over the years, and I've seen it change with each visit. But overall, I still really like the space. I think at this point, I've been able to touch up on all the major sort of like touristy things that there are out there. Actually, on this last trip, I officially finished exploring all of Golden Gate Park and all the sort of big landmarks that are over there. That's actually like one of my favorite parks to visit. It's just like a nice place to kind of like take a long stroll through nature, see a couple of different like viewpoints, but overall still being really ingrained within nature overall. And I think that's kind of the nice thing about San Francisco overall. I mean, yes, it's like a really dense living area for a lot of people, but they do seemingly very intentionally carve out these green spaces. With Golden Gate Park, Panhandle, the Presidio, Dolores Park, which is like a huge popular dog park slash like activity park near the Mission District, and Valencia. That's also like one of our favorite spots whenever we visit there. Um, but yeah, I think the only thing that I'm still missing is like Ghirardelli Square and like Fisherman's Wharf. Like we've sort of touched base on it a couple of times, but it's one of those like kind of tourist spots that feels very similar to like some tourist spots back home, and so it's just like not really my scene. I actually really like to be out in nature instead, and so that's why I prefer places like Golden Gate or the Presidio or things like that. So yeah, but overall, I really enjoy San Francisco. I think it's definitely like one of my top two, top three spots to visit on a fairly regular basis. And then if I ever had to move, that would be kind of one of the ideal spots to move to if I could ever afford it. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely thought San Francisco was a nice place to be. Like, I had a good feel. Like, I've been to LA, and as much as LA is in close proximity to Disneyland, which I do like a lot, LA and that kind of area, like Southern California area, I never ever felt like I would want to live there. But definitely North California, San Francisco area, I definitely had a more feel where I would feel like I'd like to live there. I mean, if we weren't in Hawaii right now.
Mhm.
It's just a feel. A lot more trees in nature, like less, I guess, like dirt and brown, like more green, right? More trees. I noticed there. The vibe was different too. I mean, definitely there was like like definitely a tech scene that you could tell there, being in the, I think it's called Soma district,
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
like south of the market. And I went to the Fisherman's Wharf. They went to Ghirardelli Square. That was pretty interesting. Had some ice cream there. But you're right about the Golden Gate park and the Presidio. I've been to some parks, but I mean, definitely being there was really nice. Like, it felt clean, it felt maintained. I mean, you had to pay a fee to like park and that kind of stuff, but I mean, you could see like where the money is being used to maintain those parks, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, I definitely get what you meant. I crossed the Golden Gate Bridge twice, and without realizing there's a toll. So I was kind of surprised when on my rental car a couple days later, I got a $30 toll charge. It's like, oh, what's this from Alamo? It's like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but it makes sense. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I would pay that, right? I mean, the bridge is a iconic bridge, and I'm sure a bridge like that is not cheap to maintain. The only bad thing about the Golden Bridge visit, the reason why I had to go twice, because the day I arrived, I went to the bridge, but it was just so foggy. The weather was just so bad that morning that it was just so foggy. You couldn't see anything. So, and you had ships honking I guess like the horns,
Mhm.
and you couldn't see. I went up to the mountain just to try to take a look, but I couldn't see it. So on my last day, I went back, and then it was a clear day, and that was nice. I mean, going up in the hills, kind of seeing the bridge from there, and it was a really really cool place. Yeah, I'd go there. I probably would be like you, go back there again someday, or it'd be like another trip to go. I'm sure there's some other places where I haven't seen,
Mhm.
but it's a really cool place. Really cool place. I really like the fact that they had a lot of Waymo cars.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool. I didn't drive into one yet, that which I kind of regret. But it was really cool seeing so many self-driving cars, just people in them with no driver and just driving around. Um,
Mhm.
and they drive pretty good. I mean, in fact, I would argue sometimes they're kind of aggressive too. I remember driving in my rental car, and I guess this Waymo thought it had a opportunity to try and change lane, and it just cut me off. I was like, "Whoa, okay." The robot knows. The robot wants to get to point A to point B for its passenger. So I don't know. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. It makes me. It reminds me again that San Francisco is a tech scene. I'm not too sure what it was like before the whole pandemic stuff, but maybe it might have been even more techy back then. But it's still, even now, I got that feel. So that was exciting. That was exciting.
Think about that, the Waymo. I'm just thinking about, because with all this like AI stuff, right? It's you have like analysts for these different companies like feeding the AI and like trying to teach it, to be able to do things. And I'm just imagining, someone teaching the Waymo to like one to cut off people like that, and eventually, they're going to add something in, and so like a flag pulls out on the driver's side, and it's just like a hand flipping you off.
Maybe, yeah. No, it'd be interesting to kind of give these cars life. I mean, it's interesting. Actually, interesting that you mentioned that. I didn't realize, but when I went to TechCrunch to Scrub, they were talking about, there's a segment, a panel about self-driving cars, and they said that, yeah, Waymo is really good, but that's not really fully self-driving. There is some sort of, I don't know what part, but there's still some sort of like human behind the scenes with those cars. I'm not too sure
Mm.
how far, but and there's another company, a competing company. I think that's so Waymo is owned by Google, and there's another company, I forget what it's called, but that's owned by Amazon, I believe, and they're launching apparently soon their own robo taxis that's apparently supposed to be, humanless. So I know.
Mm.
So I just missed that, right? I mean, they when I went there, they said they were about to launch maybe like a week or two, which I guess is now.
Mm.
So that would have been interesting. But yeah, I digress.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You eat any good food while you're out there?
I did go get some nice, a couple of two breakfast places. I forgot what it's called. I think one was Mama's on Washington Street, I believe,
Mm.
near Fisherman's Wharf. That was pretty cool. That was really nice. The prices were, I guess, San Francisco prices, but it was really good. I think I got like an omelet, really fresh, really good. It came out fast. I like the feel too. Very like homey, um, homey kind of place. I mean, it felt like you were in San Francisco. And then I went to another restaurant called Brenda's French Soul Food right at the edge of Mission District, and I think it's Mission District, and it was really good. I've never had soul food before, let alone French soul food, so that was new to me. A lot of seafood, which I'm allergic to, so I had to get the non-seafood stuff, but it was really good. It had like a gumbo, chicken sausage gumbo thing. That was really good. That's really good, and it had like a pumpkin for the season, right? Something like a pumpkin loaf cake. That was really good too. So yeah, I mean, I like the fact that San Francisco has a lot of foods that we don't get here in Hawaii, or at least not the same. For example, the first day I went to San Francisco, it was like I arrived like 6:30 a.m. By the time I got my car, I drove into the city. It was like around 8 a.m. and I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it was a place that served like $15 maple bacon, like three strips of bacon. And it was like a maple glaze and like a spicy maple glaze. And I've never seen that. I never had that. I've had bacon before, but I've never had bacon like that. It was good. It was expensive. I never paid like $15-$20 for bacon before, but it was really good. It was really good. And would I recommend it? I would. Just be aware of the prices that you are paying. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. This most recent trip, we were there actually just earlier this year, back in March, and yeah, I think San Francisco is one of those spots. I think if you're in like San Francisco proper, it's really hard to find bad food. Like I think consistently overall, just a lot of the restaurants are really good overall. And so, it's one of the struggles that I always have whenever we go there is just like figuring out what to eat. Just because I like to have like a huge list of like different possible options, but with San Fran, it's just sort of like you can almost not go wrong with just about anything. And so, this most recent trip, we hit up a couple of the usual spots that we would always go to, but for the most part, it was just sort of like, let's just roulette and see where we end up, and just kind of like what we're kind of feeling in that moment. And yeah, for the most part, didn't have any misses. A lot of good food, a lot of good Mexican food, a lot of good Italian food as well. And then, of course, their Chinatown district, just like bangers all around.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I miss Chinatown. I mean, I was nearby. I was passing by Union Square a little bit, walking through the area. And so Chinatown was nearby. Didn't get to go to it. Hopefully, I get to go there someday again and try some Chinese food there too. But yeah, interesting place. A lot of cops in Union Square, or a lot of security guards too. And then I also, my first day, saw like a news. Some lady drove her car into the Louis Vuitton store. I was like, okay, well, that doesn't sound good. So
yeah,
interesting vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be that seems to be more of the norm nowadays. The first time I went there was back in like 2017, 2018 or so. And I mean, there was somewhat of a police presence, but still very, very minimal. But yeah, this most recent trip, there was like a huge police presence in Union and in Mission District as well.
Yeah. So interesting place. I mean, I would say, minus all the security, and I mean, you hear the news about like how certain districts and certain places are maybe not the safest place to go to. Haven't passed by them other than the edges of Mission District, I believe. Otherwise, yeah, it's a cool place. A cool place. I would go back again. Probably see more. Probably venture more around the other areas nearby San Francisco. I'd be kind of curious to see what that is like. So, yeah. Till next
Yeah,
time.
usually last or this recent trip we were there. We were actually located, or like we did like a Airbnb type hotel spot out in like East Bay, and so like relatively close, but it's still it's a little bit of a drive. But we were able to easily get to San Fran, you get to San Jose, check out Oakland a little bit, just kind of all those different areas within a fairly reasonable amount of time. But yeah, that could be like a nice cheaper alternative as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Keep that in mind for next time.
well, in any case, thanks for catching us up on all of that and what you were up to during that period of time you were gone. But it has been a while since we were chatting just in general. So I wanted to use this opportunity to kind of take this time and just see what we're up to, how things have been going, and also, of course, bringing it all back around to games and entertainment. Like, what's new there? What are you playing? Any cool things we were watching? I mean, just before we started this recording, we were talking a little bit about some trailers, and we're talking about the Thunderbolts and the new Captain America trailer that launched. But we held off on some of that discussion because we thought maybe it'd be good content as well. But yeah, what's new with you on that front?
Yeah, no, for sure. Since then, I have recently picked up Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and I just finished the campaign last night. Overall, really fun stuff. I mean, it's Call of Duty. You know what you're getting into. It's super polished. I can't say it's a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's a super polished, well-made game. I like the story. I mean, I like the fact that for Black Ops, it's a bit more story focused, and has it's very much different from Black Ops One in the very beginning. A lot of choices and your interactions, diverging paths, stuff like that, compared to the traditional, straightforward type of Call of Duty like you mentioned before. So it was really good. I enjoyed the story, the intrigue, the mystery, all that secrecy and stuff. I played a little bit of the multiplayer. Um, Vault Zombies 2. I like it. I enjoy it. Would I say it's anything new and groundbreaking? I would comment no, not really. But you're getting the fast paced shooter, right? The guns feel good, the movement feels good. The movement feels better now because they have the whole omni movement now, so you can like slide in all these different directions, turn around all these different directions. So it was very very smooth. Um, and yeah, it just feels that itch. I know, given my past three with Call of Duty, I mean, I played quite a bit. I played Modern Warfare 2, 3. They rebooted Modern Warfare, the original Call of Duty 1 and 2. Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and every once in a while, it just feels that itch. I mean, I play it maybe for 1, 2, 3 months at most, and eventually I fade off. But you know what? It's just a fun game. I like it. I'm sure. I believe you don't have it yourself, but I know, knowing you like zombies. Zombies is good stuff. If you ever get to it, I'm sure you'll like it. Otherwise, I did start watching The Penguin on HBO Max while on the plane. It was only the first episode. It's really good. I like the fact that it's like gets into the crime underground world of Gotham City. That was really nice. And you know what? It's definitely not a PG movie, a PG-13 show. It's definitely a lot more grittier. Definitely a HBO type of series. So I appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to the next episodes, which I believe today is the finale. So I get to watch all that and without pause. So yeah, that's what's been new for me this past week. Yeah, how about you? What are you doing?
So honestly, it's just been a little busy. So I've been looking for just some things to be able to like throw out onto the background. So really dive deep into like various types of podcasts. But whenever it's like family time, we try to put on like a show and something a little bit more lighthearted, pretty low stakes. And so honestly, super random, but we threw on a iteration of Scooby Doo. And so this was like a 2010 to 2013 run on Cartoon Network, and just like had zero context for anything other than that it was like a recent Scooby Doo. So it's like, oh sure, it's fine. Like right off the bat, this Scooby Doo has a very thirsty Velma for Shaggy. I was like, was not expecting that at all.
Hmm.
And so, like for the most part, the show is very much like Creature of the Week, but there is like an overarching through line between like what's happening with the core, Mystery Incorporated, but also like a larger mystery that's been happening. I gotta say, it's actually pretty good. And we just finished season one and going on into season two. But in addition to that, though, the reason why we wanted some background noise is just because we were also doing other things and wanting to play different types of games. I recently just got a Steam Deck, and so I've been trying to just figure out like how to get everything situated, what games can play well on it, what games, even if it can play well, does it feel right for me? Some of these things I'm going through my old catalog and trying to play them on here in a controller format. If is that something that feels comfortable, and that a lot of trial and error with that. But one thing that I tapped into that I've been really wanting to play for a long, long time is Project Zomboid. And it's, I'm like 12, 13 hours in right now. It's a really good time, having a lot of fun with it. But I gotta say, it is super stressful. Just like, I whenever I've played like various types of zombie like games out there, Resident Evil, Days Gone, Dying Light, Dead Island, all these types of things. There is a certain point where you start to feel kind of like powerful, right? Like it the zombies, the creatures, they become a lot less of a threat to you as a player, right? As you kind of progress forward on, and now it's just more of a little bit more of a hindrance. But I'm like 13 hours in, and just like even the sight of one zombie just like sends a shock through me, and just like a spike in blood pressure. Just
Yeah.
because like anything and everything will kill me in this game. And the one thing I'm really enjoying about this game is just like figuring things out as I progress forward. And so something that happened is like I jumped through a window and I didn't realize I was just, I happened to be near a window and I hit the jump through button, but it had some broken glass and I ended up getting like a piece of glass stuck in me. And now I have this deep wound that may kill me and it might just end my run in this game. But, I'm hoping for the best, using some bandages to kind of stitch myself up. But overall, it's a really good time, but a lot more stressful than I'd like, especially for a game I'm trying to wind down on before I go to sleep. And so maybe not the best choice there, but I'm still looking through the different catalogs and seeing what can work on Steam Deck for me. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I understand about the catalog. I mean, I still have a bunch of stuff that I need to get to, that I want to play, which I'm hoping that this holiday season, as things die down, for many others, work included, that I get through. I'm probably gonna, after Black Ops 6, since I finished the campaign, I'm definitely gonna just play zombies and multiplayer a little bit more. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get to another game, maybe Astrobot, maybe Dragon Age Veilguard. Not too sure. I'm kind of want to thinking of saving that last before hopping into that, since I know that game is gonna take a lot of time out of me. But I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, it's been a while since I played a Dragon Age game, so, and the reviews have been good for this one. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, that's until we get it. Hopefully, we all get to our backlog catalog
yeah,
soon.
for sure. Did you play Dragon Age Inquisition, or was the last one you played like Dragon Age 1?
Yeah, definitely Dragon Age 1. I've always wanted to play 2. I do have Dragon Age Inquisition on my PlayStation account. Just never got around to it. I know it's pretty good. So I'm not too sure if one needs to know the story for Inquisition to get a better context for Veilguard. Not too sure if that's the case. Um, so, but I also heard Inquisition is quite long too. So, part of me wants to just kind of jump into Veilguard. So I might skip it. Well, it depends. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, so actually, I got Inquisition like a few years back. It was on sale during like a Black Friday or something like that on PSN, and I got through maybe like a quarter of the game the first time. I stopped, and then when I came back into it, I was just like so lost. I had no idea what the hell was going on. And I started playing it again recently, and I think I'm maybe like 50% through the main storyline, but I'm doing a lot of the side quests right now,
Hmm.
and I'm definitely a lot further than I was in the first go around. But there's just so much lore within this game, and like it's so easy to just like miss things. It's a little overbearing actually for this game, I would say.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard in some reviews, it's good to have played um, Inquisition like specifically, but it's not necessary. Like
Hmm.
Veilguard is, they sort of like situated everything so it's really easy for new players into the world. They can just hop right in, get all the necessary context that they need, and just be able to move on. It can be helpful to have that backstory, but it's definitely not necessary from what I've heard. But
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to hear. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm always it's good to hear because I want to. I'm a story type of player. I always enjoy games that have a good story. Whether it's fantasy, space, adventure, whatever it may be. I am always looking forward to that. So sometimes when I play games that are kind of like part of a franchise, I'm always unsure if I should jump into a new one. If I skip one, thinking I might miss a story. Like for example, for Black Ops 6, right? I just finished Black Ops 6, but I actually missed Black Ops Cold War, the previous entry before Black Ops 6, and I do have it in my account as part of the free games on the PlayStation Store. So I wondered if I missed something. I mean, there's some characters that I didn't see for the first time, but you know, I might get into it. I mean, it's only a five. I heard it's like a 5 hour campaign, so get some greater context into the characters that I saw in this Black Ops 6 campaign. But but yeah, stories always good story.
yeah, for sure.
Talking about stories, I think you and I have both saw the trailers for Captain America and Thunderbolts, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts about. I mean, I think overall it was cool to see the trailers. I mean, I know I'm excited to see it, but at the same time, I do have some reservations about what I saw. Not because of the content being shown in the trailers was a problem. More I don't know if you felt this way. More the fact that I thought the trailers, both of them were quite long. And I've come to the realization that whenever there's a trailer that's too long and kind of seems to kind of share too many scenes from a film, that that means there's that that usually has told me that there might be something wrong with the film, the end product as it comes out. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. I kind of thought
Mm,
that you're showing it too much for both trailers into the
mm.
movie. Less surprises.
Yeah, that's true. I still think there. I mean, there is a little bit of a mystery behind it all. And I know, like in the past, during the golden age of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they would have like red herrings in there as well. Like certain scenes weren't in the actual movies themselves, or like things would be edited, so it's like a totally different background or scenery overall, and so that changes the context of things. And so it could be possible that we do have some red herrings here as well, but I it's I haven't been keeping up with it as closely, but I do recall there were some like reshoots and rewrites during these films as well, and then there was a lot of like changes as to like where it was going to be in the release schedule as well, and so it's hard to know for certain. This is these films are going to be the first ones coming out after somewhat of a long break period for
Mm.
for Marvel films. I think like it's uh, you know the last sort of long period without a Marvel film was during like phase two or so,
Mm.
during like the Dark World, like Thor Dark World, and then like the next movie after that or something like that. So, it'd be interesting to see sort of what they might have changed to kind of right the ship. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but this these past couple of phases post Infinity War definitely not as bright and shiny as it once was. Still an entertaining ride, but I do think some calibration is needed, and so I'm curious to see where things are with these two films. I will say I am more stoked about the Thunderbolts than I am Captain America. Um, I think from what I saw and what I can kind of like piece together for the story, um, I I'm just a little bit more intrigued with what's happening in the Thunderbolts. I mean, just like the sort of anti-hero characters getting into some types of shenanigans, and and for the most part, like we've seen a lot of these characters in various places, and now this is our opportunity to learn a little bit more about them, but also how they interact with one another, right? And so that's what I'm most intrigued by. Um, as for the Captain America trailer, I don't know. There was something about it. I can't really put my my finger on it, but like something with the overarching story that just didn't seem to click with me, or like it seemed a little too played out. Where it's like the inner circle has been compromised. Lots of like the government structure has been compromised, and I feel like that was already done with Winter Soldier, right? And that was like a huge moment when that reveal happened, and then we also got that with Secret Invasion as well. Granted, different characters, different antagonists, but still this sort of same theme overall, which is a little disappointing in one respect because this is going to be the first Captain America with um, Anthony Mackie as like fully Captain America and like having his own film. So I really wanted this moment to like shine for him and his character. But yeah, I am a little bit more reserved about it. But I will say some of the choreography that I saw with him and what they're kind of doing with how his version of Captain America while still being Falcon previously, right? I think that some of that was super cool, and um, seeing aspects of like his suit and his armor as well was super neat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely think it. I am excited for it. And I think definitely Anthony Mackie, as Captain America, is exciting to see and see his own take. It's definitely gonna be a different Captain America, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
definitely more vulnerable Captain America, right? He's definitely that super soldier, um, and that's been interesting, right? I mean, you can see that one scene in the trailer where he's throwing the shield. It's not the same throw like Steve Rogers, right? That a power throw. It's definitely a throw where it's like by a regular human being is throwing it, and it's not as fast. But it'd be interesting how they show his character, Sam's character,
Mm-hmm.
kind of um, you know properly taking on the Captain America mantle on his way and how he fights and defends it. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I want the best. I mean, I'm expecting it to be a good time. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just something about that long trailers. Especially when I see long trailers that kind of give too much away, like different scenes and stuff like that. It kind of gives me like a little of like a worry. rough phase. But just like you, I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts 2. It's interesting. I mean, it's cool seeing all the characters. I think it was Ghost and um, Taskmaster. Those two, I'm really excited. Kind of curious to see how they fit into the whole scheme of things. Red Guardian, it's seems to be a fun character, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, but pretty soon, sometime next year, hopefully this is the time where MCU kind of gets back to its sure footing again. I finished Agatha all along. I thought it was a really great show, and to me, it was very different. I mean, it had horror elements, a bit spooky, good comedy, interesting story, definitely different. Which I think MCU in his Infinity War days did really well with, and changing up genres and experimenting. And Agatha All Along to me was kind of an example of what happens when Marvel MCU experiments and tries to does different things. It's really good stuff. I liked it. Um, and looking forward to kind of see how that story continues on. But yeah, hopefully after some of the unsure stuff that's happened with MCU for the past few couple of years, yeah, hopefully in 2025 will be a pretty good run for what they're having. I believe what's coming out next year: Captain America, Thunderbolts, and I think there's one more. Not too sure. Can't recall.
Yeah, for all that stuff, it's hard to keep track of. Plus, I mean, they always like rotate some things around too. So I'm always just sort of
True.
the mindset of like, yeah, whatever comes out, and I'll probably check it out. And if it's interesting, cool. If not, then maybe I'll just like kind of wait on it. I mean, because I do keep track of the MCU stuff when it comes out, but like I think the last time I was actually in theaters for it was Multiverse of Madness, right? So it's been a minute since
Yeah.
I was so motivated enough to actually like go to the theaters. But I will say with these new ones coming out, definitely for Thunderbolts, I think I'll probably try hit the theaters. Captain America, maybe not. I'm not sure which one is coming out first though. I assume it's going to be Captain America that comes out first.
Probably, yeah. They're probably going to want to start the year strong with a Captain America film for sure. For sure.
All right. Well, that's us and just kind of what's been happening, for entertainment, what we were watching, different types of games, what Chris was up to a couple weeks back. But in any case, we're getting a little long in the tooth here. We just want to make a quick video just to try to get back into the swing of things before we start diving back into our like single topics or like news roundups and things like that. But in any case, as usual, like, comment, subscribe down below. And until next time, goodbye.